Hello and welcome to Monteriggioni in Tuscany in Italy. We are going to try something which I've wanted to try and do for a long time, and that is try and get a full-fledged functioning grape farm. What we want to do eventually is get to a point where we can be fully self-sustainable and be able to manure, spread all our grapevines. Yeah, just thought it would be an interesting challenge. So we are on Monteriggioni in Tuscany in Italy. We do start out with a starter farm, which is on 5, which includes a grape processing unit. So if we just flick into that allows us to produce some grape juice, raisins, table grape, i.e. table wine, and unpacked grape juice. As part of the outputs. It also gives us some grape seeds and grape must as well. So yeah, just something different rather than the normal cereal crops, and something to try and do. We start with absolutely no equipment, so we will be browsing the shops to see what deals we can get off the market. We do have the realistic livestock mod installed, and also the red tape mod. We do have this field of grapes, and we own this entire field on the right hand side as well, which was likely to be some more grape fields too. We don't own that grass field currently at the bottom, but that potentially might extend our grapes out as well. But to do that, we need to make money. How do we make money? By making productions with our crops. So let's have a look at what's in the sale and see what we can pick up to help with our enterprise. So obviously we need, well, we have the Landini there, which is fantastic for grape harvesting, so that's definitely consideration. We also have the Fendt, which is a lot quicker. So I think that's 79 horsepower as a minimum. That's 70 horsepower. That 9 horsepower makes a massive difference, of course. Let's have a look what else is in here. Is there a grape harvester? There's a massive class combine there. That would be good in any other circumstance. Doesn't look anything at the moment, so we can get a tractor, but don't have anything else unless I am blind. There's an olive picker there. Interesting. So nothing at the moment. So there is a grapeviner there. So we'll need to use that for cultivating our grapes or devining our grapes plants in the spring. It's a small cultivator, 3 meters wide. It's a mulcher. No, it's a forestry mulcher for tree stumps. I thought that might be a mulcher for the grapes. So let's have a look. Anything else that's kind of standing out apart from that tractor? Also be good to, there is a trailer for pushing out the grapes, so nothing else currently sits out. I am going to get that Fendt because I think that's going to be a fantastic purchase for what we need to do. Well, not that Fendt, that would be very nice. Where is the little Fendt gone? There he is. So that's currently at 94 horsepower, and it's a Black Beauty version as well, so a bit different than the standard green. So now we're going to have to go into the main shop. So some things which we need will be in the grape section, funny enough. So grapes and olives, so that's an olive harvester. A grape harvester, we can get the Aereo, that has a maximum of 3,000 capacity. That has 3,100 capacity. We can get the Grigor, which can go up to 4,000 capacity. So we're going to have to get this, but this will have to be on hire purchase. We're going to get the 4,000 litre version. Let's have a look at hire purchase. If we put 30% down and over 5 years, we're going to have to bring in, make sure we're sustaining an income of £3,203 a month. So that has been picked up. So we picked up the Grape trailer, 6,000 litres capacity. That would have been a bit better, but just starting out. We've got the Diviner. We can get the sprayer. Then we've got the mulcher. And then we have the cultivator. What we will need to get as well is the manure spreader, or the FarmTech VeroFlex. But we don't have any manure, but we will need to do lime as well, so let's just pick that up. Last but by no means least, we'll need some form of truck to carry our produce. So I've always fancied using this lizard. You don't use it unless you're on the Hunter Pantai start map, but we're just going to pick that up on finance as well. So that's £9,654 a month. Brilliant. So let's go to the shop. I've not seen how far the shop is away, but that is our starting equipment. So the first thing which we'll need to do on our farm is get there, but we will need to have a look at cultivation and also at mulching, so check the quality of our soil. We also need to purchase the soil information. So in precision farming, if you've not used it before, go into 5 and purchase soil information, £525, and we can see that we've got a mix between loamy sand and sandy loam in here. There will be some in 124 as well, but we're not at the point where we're able to purchase that yet. So let's take our equipment back from the shop and see what we need to do on our fields. So let's get it done. Right, welcome back. I saved you from the transporting back and forth to the farm, but we've now brought everything back with us. So we have our trailer, our manure spreader, our trailer for grapes, our spreader, we have our Diviner, and before I noticed this extra storage, we have our mulcher and our cultivator just over here. So all our equipment is now back at our lovely farm. Right, so let's have a quick look at our fields. So it looks pretty good from the cultivation and mulching side of things. The one thing it is lacking is around fertiliser. So what we will do today is fertilise it, and if you have a look at the crop calendar, I don't think we can harvest grapes until grapes. Helps if I remember my alphabet. Well, grapes is next month, so we'll be able to harvest that a short period of time and then get it into the production. In terms of the map, just driving back and forth, it looked absolutely fantastic. Just different things. I think there was an electric cars by the sound of things. So standard bakery, a dairy, no special produce there. A grain mill, so you can see the rice, spelt, triticale, and wheat. Oil mill with some grapeseed oil as well. Interesting. Pasta factory. Egg pasta, gnocchi pasta, and tricolour pasta, which involves tomatoes and spinach. A sawmill, standard spinnery with grape leverette, which requires recycled polyester, and a tailor. So yeah, some different productions, something different. I've never played on this map before, never experienced it. So what we're going to do is go back to our yard. We're going to pick up our fertiliser, sprayer. Every time I come in I want to loop around that tree. Our sprayer, pop to the shop, get some liquid fertiliser. Ultimately what we want to get to a position is where we are producing manure to be able to spread on the fields rather than purchasing liquid fertiliser. constantly. So yeah, let's just park up next to our field, we'll get the truck and we'll go pick up some liquid fertiliser and start some spraying. So just drop this off here, let's get in our lizard truck and pop back to the shop. The one thing I did notice is a grape farm without somewhere to store the grape harvester. So what the purpose of this is, rather than using the tractor to kind of drive around the map as we always do, is just have some quicker form of transport to get back and forth to places, and yeah, it's just something different to driving. This was one of the first vehicles that I remember driving on the Hutan Pantai map. So yeah, let's just pick up the liquid fert, the sprayer, get back to our fields and commence the spraying. So we're back at the farm. We've managed to get some liquid fertiliser for £3,200. So just filling up our sprayer now and then commenced spraying on the field. So that was quite a lot of liquid fertiliser picked up on there. So if you've never ever used done grapes, so you can't use a worker. You can hook up courseplay to do it, but what you can normally do is get the lines of which you want to operate within. So let's try again. There we go. So you can get the lines in, and you can then follow the lines as you're spraying. So as you can see, the fertilizer map in the bottom left hand corner is changing to a nice green colour, and you don't have to do every line. You can, because of the sprayer we're using, it does fertilise both lines, and it should be a pretty quick job across this section. What we'll do then is move on to next month, and we'll get some harvesting done, but we're going to do this on a quick time lapse, and we're back shortly. So that is the fertilising done on the field. So we're going to put our machines away, and what we're going to do is sleep through to next month, and then we're going to get in the harvester and do our first grape harvest. So I will join you in a few moments. So good morning and welcome back. It is September. As you yesterday we fertilised the grapes, and now look at those big blue juicy grapes ready for harvesting. also just looking at the field needs a bit of lime, but we'll do that after harvest. But the main priority is the harvest of these grapes. In terms of the weather, it's due to rain at 11 AM, so let's get prepped up and ready for our first harvest, and then get the production started as well. So things in which we need out on the field will be our trailer. So this will obviously transport the relatively short journey from our field to our production, and then we can probably look to try and get all of them started up. What we'll also need to do is be able to look at when the best prices to sell things are. So let's get our tractor down to the field, placed in a decent-ish area. Our most expensive piece of equipment, our Grape harvester, which is left outside because there is no storage to be able to fit it in, which is nice, and obviously showing how well we're looking after our equipment. And then let's get this grape harvest started and see how much we're going to get. Obviously, quite fortunate we've managed to fertilise the field before going into harvest. It's not the full treatment. I managed to get myself stuck on the vine, yeah. So unfold the harvester, turn on the harvester, let's see if we can get the line set up, and let's get this harvest started. We'll go line by line. This one thing about this harvester, it has a fantastic turning circle. And see how many rows we can do before we have to unload. Obviously, the position of the trailer is we want to unload when we're coming down the hill as opposed to going up the hill. So once we've got our first trailer load, I will join you back in again. So enjoy.
Walked away, and it matched the color of my heart. Rain on the windshield, you're standing still as I drive off in my car. Just like you said, I see the end. Yeah, there's no way around it. As I head west, I must confess, I'm better off without you. Now that I'm alone, I see it all so clear. Just one look and I knew you meant it. Tears falling and your face was wet, and baby, I tried to not let it affect me. But now that you're gone, I'm feeling a little less bitter. I'm thinking about folded letters. I'm starting to know you better, and I can't be what you want. We almost made it, but you couldn't take it, and I'd understand. You didn't hate me, but it just wasn't fated, and you want a man. You want a man, and I want a man. So we're both on our way. We say goodbye, this is our last time, and I hope you're okay. I'll see you around, I'll see you in a couple years. Just one look.
So that is almost 2 full harvesters full. So we're just going to empty the harvester into the trailer, and then look to start kicking off some of the productions. Roughly about halfway through the field, I'd say. But yeah, main thing is we go 17. I was like, that was taking a bit of a long time, but yeah, it's a bit of the grape beginnings. So yeah, get this 6,000 litres of grapes into the production. Again, that tree's going to go at some point, isn't it? Let's test my reversing skills. I think the trigger's rather kind for me. But yeah, let's get this loaded in and kick off the production. So 6,000 litres in. So that one unloaded pretty quickly. So 6,000 litres of grapes into the production. Let's go and see what we can kick off. So we got our grape juice. Let's get that started. Our raisins, our table grape or table wine, and unpackaged grape as well. So what's that using? That's table grape, raisins. Yeah, so that's the interesting one. So 300 unpackaged grape, 75 grapeseed, and 225 grape must. So do not have a clue on how that gets transported around. So yeah, definitely a learning side. So grape processing medium. Does that mean there's a grape processing large? You would assume so. But yeah, let's get back to the harvest. Let's see if we can get it done in the next time lapse. But there's definitely some still in the harvester, so let's get that emptied or drive straight past the harvester. Another couple of 1,000 litres in there now, and then by the time we finish, we'll see if we've got any produce done. So yeah, hopefully another quick time lapse, and back with you shortly. Hello, welcome back. We've just got our last couple of ups and downs. We've managed to harvest 12,000 litres so far, plus the 2,000 which are in the harvester's tank. Just a couple more up and downs, so potentially almost 18,000 litres of grape. Just having to think about plans as we're going through this. As mentioned, want to become fully self-sustainable, so we need to have some manure as opposed to using liquid fertilizer. So I'd like to get some pigs in. To do that, we obviously need pig food and straw, which initially probably look to buy and bring in rather than have our own crops. And then in terms of expanding of fields, expanding of our grape empire, there should be more than enough space in that field over there just to get that harvested. So let's have a quick look, get that put into the field. So in terms of the map and the land which we own, so we do own the top part of this grass field, which is probably where I'd look to put the pigs, and then the bottom half then could be more grapevines, and then field 165,000 could be an option for future expansion. So that's just the grass field at the bottom of this grapevine, so we can look to expand the length of these grapevines going further down. So just having a look, we're probably at a point where we need to empty this again, so completely empty trailer. Just getting behind the harvester. Let's empty before we go on our final pass. And then once we've done this, there's actually no work until March. So we'll probably have to skip through the winter months where there's generally nothing to do initially until we've got our animals on the farm. So yeah, let's finish this final pass. Let's load our final amount of grapes, see our final total, and then we'll have a check for when the settlements are for the grape produce. Probably March. So anything other than productions from cereal crops are generally in March, so March or July. So we'll have a quick look. Notice the time is only on ×1 at the moment, so we haven't produced that many. I will in future probably be paying on to ×12, ×5, just to kind of give the, so we're not all done and dusted by 9:30 in the in the morning. So let's back up to the trailer. Let's get the harvester parked away until next year. So one of the things I did notice, there's obviously the moisture mod doesn't look at grapes as for moisture, which is helpful. So it just means we can harvest when it sees fit. I can't remember if grapes is also affected by the rain, but we do have some rain coming in the next hour and a half. Well, no, that won't fit in there. I'm just trying to figure out what will fit, if this will fit anywhere, because at the moment, like I said earlier, this is my most expensive piece of machinery, which we're just leaving outside chilling on our lawn. So here's our final load. So what was that? 6, 12, 16,156 in total from a harvest, which is not bad for a first attempt. Over the coming years, we want this to be a proper exercise to get this harvested. So rather than that taking roughly 30 minutes. So let's get the final load dumped in. You see it's processed a little bit, but not massive amounts, so we're only on 53 litres so far consumed. In the spring then we're going to have to get onto the cultivating. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if that's the correct hole I wanted to escape from. So let's get this back round. dropped into our trailer, and the final thing which we'll do today is have a look and see when the sell time is for our grape produce. Get that unloaded. Just also good when you're doing kind of a mundane task of driving up and down your field. You do kind of think of random things which you could potentially do. So can you beat Farming Simulator without actually planting or harvesting any crops as one of those things. So what we're producing: grape juice, raisins, table grape and unpacked grape. So let's have a look into the prices. Well, I can actually see it from here. So February for the grape juice, June for the grape must, grape seed is June, raisins is October, table grape is June, and unpacked grape juice is February. So our next main sell month, our first main sell month is going to be February, then June, and then the raisins in October. So just over a year to sell our raisins. If you look at the max price as well, so unpacked grape juice 1800, grape juice 3300, grape seed 572, table grape 2100, grape must quite short, quite small at 388, and the raisins at 3200. So currently projected income is £784. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and that is the end of our first grape harvest. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.